It's October 12th, and I was talking about how I didn't know what I was in for. And I sort of left off at the part where Julie Anderson had made a point with the court to sort of to punish me, and it affected my son as well. And the next thing that happened was as I say, I had all of these different evaluations being done, and I really believe that the entire reason I'd written a lot of original songs, and I'd heard some of them on the radio, and I had had some creative ideas, and I'd had a lot of poetry that I had written that was spontaneous and of the moment, just coming to me naturally. And I think that that worried a group, because I think that for some time I guess I can go back to John Camp and his accusation in court that, Your Honor, she thinks she's special, and I had never said anything of the kind. But what I do think, looking back, is that somebody did think that I was special, and they didn't want me to be special. Otherwise, nobody would have ever even thought of that term to begin with. And my singing voice now, that you hear it now, it's nothing out of the ordinary. But it was very out of the ordinary until it was ruined in Seattle by torture. And my son's intellect, he was extremely gifted. He was far advanced, and I have found evidence of people trying to remove evidence of of how far ahead he was with not just his intellectual development, but with his physical development. And since the two tend to go hand in hand, I guess somebody wanted to erase the fact that was happening with him as well. So there was definitely, it was beyond jealousy, it was hatred. It has been hate that has driven people to torture and use me and my son. And in the process of all of this hate, I've had people trying to keep me out of college, not wanting me to look very educated, and really taking pride in any idea that at any chance they can to try to say that I'm not that special, or that I'm really not that smart. And I think part of that is because they know how advanced my son was, and I think part of the point has been to make me not look like I was that smart, so therefore it cannot be possible that my son was really a genius, very close to genius, and that his development and everything has been affected by the torture that was done to him. So I know that when I had this IQ test done, I don't believe that it's accurate. I think something was altered, but I don't know why it would be altered. And I know that Chris Rizzolo, for example, when he heard it was that I had gotten the score that I said I was going to get, because I said, I think I'm going to work it so that I'm not too smart, but I'm not really dumb either. I think maybe what CPS would be most comfortable with would be for me to be just a little bit above average. So I was I told him out loud when I was with him. I told him the specific score that I was going to get on that I was going to aim for on my IQ test. And I think it's I think it's more than strange that that is the exact score to the point that I was told that I had. And since I know some of the MMPIs and the psychological testing that's been done to me has been false, I don't believe that the IQ testing has been true. And I know, I mean, as for me, I really don't care. What I care about is the fact that I've been medicated without my consent, and it's affected my ability to be as creative naturally as I normally am. I care about the fact that I was tortured to lose my singing voice, which was remarkable at one point. And basically, I've been stripped of my beautiful singing voice and of my creativity, which were some of my best features, the best things about me. And that's hate crime. That is not government research. You can call it whatever you want, and you can throw it into government research and claim that something else greater is happening, and it's not. No country tries to destroy talent in its own citizens unless they have people in charge that are full of hate, that for some reason don't want those individuals to succeed or excel in any way. And the last time that I did excel was when I was going to college and holding up 2 lawsuits on my own, and I think that that was a shocking to people who hated me. And I think that they didn't like the fact that I was able to do that well in court and with the legal process. And ever since, they have taken revenge against me. And I've been tortured. There's not been one term. I've been pushed out of college all this time, and the one term that I had of college in last April, I was tortured. And I had my computer functions and everything were being tampered with the entire time. I wasn't able to get anything done as I normally would. This term, it's 3 weeks into the term, and I got my books yesterday. And it wasn't because, well, and I've been tortured too. This entire time, every single day, a day has not gone by when I have not been tortured. And I'm just wondering exactly what this country is trying to offer me, or what they exactly expect, and why they're allowing these criminals to continue doing this to me. I mean, all that I can do basically is make a few video clips here every day, which make it sound like I'm talking normally and I look like I'm fine, when really nothing's fine. There's nothing fine about my being tortured on a daily basis. There's nothing fine about the fact that I have seen my son being punched, cut up, dragged around, dosed with permanent solutions so that his stomach and throat are ruined. Degraded. And that's on top of the military and aerospace defense industry technology that's been leveraged against him. And this entire time that I've been talking, I have somebody doing something to the left part of my ear. I'm really tired about this, all of this. And why isn't there anybody in government that's doing something about it? I mean, why isn't there somebody who is interested in calling me up or having a Senate hearing? You know, what about this destroyed evidence, supposedly that was destroyed, that the FBI made a note of? They give me just a little sneak peek, little sneak preview of my file, showing me that documents about me were destroyed in 1977 when I was 3 years old. And I don't think they were destroyed, but they basically wanted me to know that there is documentation about me that was created in 1977 when I was 3. So after they said that they did my IQ, and I did do it sort of half-heartedly. I did, actually. But then I just thought that even though I did, even if I said that's what I was doing, I just still thought it was strange that they wanted it to come out exactly as I was saying to Chris Rizzolo it was going to come out. And then I could tell that he was glad that it was just barely above average, because he didn't want it to be anything special. He didn't want, for whatever reason, I had a feeling that somebody was basically analyzing me and taking test results for me to be on a meat market. Basically, to give someone a feeling of satisfaction that their child was smarter than I was, or that my son was really not damaged the way he was damaged, because it wasn't possible for him to be as smart as I said he was, because I was not that smart. And so therefore, since I'm his mother and it's hereditary, therefore it's impossible that this country targeted my son because of jealousy and hate. And they didn't need a head exam. What did they need a head exam for? I had no physical disability aside from migraines, which they knew about. And we already knew how to control my migraines. It was through having injections at the hospital. And those migraines were not even triggered naturally. They're triggered by the military, which is why the military wanted the CT to begin with. They wanted to see how much damage they'd done potentially to my brain after targeting me for so many years. So first they did their baseline CD, or CT, when I was working for Lori Cartwright. And they never gave me those results. And I take that back. They did their first baseline CT in 1995 when I was at the University of Utah Hospital. Then they did another one in 1998, and it was 1998 or 1999. So let's see, that was about 3 to 4 years later. And then I believe it was 3 to 4 years after the first baseline CT that they did of my head. That they did another one, as I say, in 1998 or 1999. And then from that point it was another 3 to 4 years until they did another CT.